What if I told you that while Toyota SUVs have an exceptional reputation for reliability, certain specific model years have serious problems that make them genuinely worth avoiding? Picture this. You're shopping for a used Toyota SUV, confident in the brand's legendary reputation for quality and longevity, when you come across a great deal on a specific year that seems perfect on the surface. But here's what most buyers don't know. Certain production years contain documented widespread problems that can cost thousands in repairs and create safety concerns. Toyota's overall reliability is legendary and well-deserved based on decades of performance data, but like any manufacturer, they've had specific years where problems affected large numbers of vehicles. These aren't isolated defects affecting one or two cars. These are systemic issues documented across thousands of vehicles with the same complaints appearing repeatedly from owners across different regions. The difference between buying a Toyota SUV that runs for 300,000 miles and one that becomes a money pit often comes down to the specific model year you choose. Today, we're revealing 5 Toyota SUV model years you should absolutely avoid when shopping used vehicles with documented problems serious enough to warrant passing on the deal. Understanding these problem years helps you make smart purchasing decisions while still benefiting from Toyota's exceptional reliability in other years. These specific years have known issues that mechanics see repeatedly, owners report consistently in forums, and manufacturer recalls confirm exist. Let's identify which Toyota SUV years to skip and why. 5. 2004-2008 Toyota 4Runner frame rust. Starting at number 5 is the 2004-2008 Toyota 4Runner, specifically concerning catastrophic frame rust that became such a widespread problem, Toyota issued a massive recall and replacement program. These model years produced vehicles with susceptibility to severe frame corrosion that could compromise structural integrity and safety. The 4Runner's frame wasn't adequately protected from corrosion, particularly in areas exposed to road salt and moisture, leading to rust development that aggressively weakens the frame's structural integrity over time. The frame rust issue was so severe and widespread that Toyota implemented an extraordinarily expensive recall program offering free frame replacement for affected vehicles, an exceptionally rare remedy from Toyota indicating the severity of the problem. Owners discovered rust holes literally eating through the frame at relatively low mileage, creating genuine safety concerns about frame strength, vehicle stability, and the vehicle's ability to withstand impacts. Some vehicles had frames so severely corroded they were deemed unsafe to drive or repair, essentially making the vehicle scrap material despite otherwise good condition throughout. The rust typically appears underneath where owners can't see it developing until it reaches critical stages where structural damage is already severe. This corrosion problem particularly affected 4Runners in regions with harsh winters and road salt exposure, but it wasn't exclusive to those areas. Many vehicles in other climates also developed significant frame rust requiring replacement, suggesting a fundamental manufacturing defect rather than just environmental conditions. The failure to adequately protect the frame from corrosion represents a significant manufacturing oversight that affected a substantial percentage of 2004-2008 4Runner production across all regions and climates. While Toyota's recall program did address the issue comprehensively, the recall required dealership visits and frame replacement procedures that could take weeks or months as dealerships worked through the massive backlog. Out-of-warranty vehicles without recall coverage faced expensive repairs. Many owners of these years experienced frame replacement costs exceeding $5,000 when outside warranty protection, making the repair nearly as expensive as buying a replacement vehicle. The frame replacement process itself was extensive, requiring the entire vehicle body to be lifted from the frame and transferred to a new frame structure, essentially dismantling and reconstructing the vehicle. Some owners reported concerns about the quality of replacement frames and whether they incorporated improved corrosion protection to prevent recurrence. The overall experience with this recall created negative impressions despite Toyota's genuine effort to fix the problem permanently. Understanding frame condition is essential when evaluating these model years. Many 2004-2008 4Runners have had frame replacement through Toyota's recall program, but verification is critical. Check the vehicle service records for documentation of frame replacement work. Look underneath for evidence of recent welding or structural work that might indicate frame replacement. Some vehicles may still have original frames with developing rust, while others have been restored through warranty service. The difference between a properly replaced frame and an original corroding frame is enormous in terms of vehicle value and safety. If you're considering a 2004-2008 4Runner, verify that frame replacement work has been completed and obtain documentation of the service from an authorized Toyota dealership. If it hasn't been done and the vehicle shows frame rust, budget for the expense or pass on the vehicle entirely. The frame's structural integrity is non-negotiable for safety and long-term reliability. Check underneath for evidence of frame replacement or continuing rust development. Have a mechanic inspect the frame thoroughly for any signs of rust or structural damage. Get a complete history showing when frame replacement occurred and whether warranty work addressed the problem. 4 2007-2009 Toyota Highlander transmission issues. At number 4 is the 2007-2009 Toyota Highlander, which experienced transmission problems that affected a significant portion of production, particularly models with the 5-speed automatic transmission paired with the V6 engine. These model years had transmission hesitation, delayed engagement, and occasional complete failures that were completely inconsistent with Toyota's typical reliability standards. The transmissions would occasionally fail to engage properly, leaving drivers stranded or creating safety concerns during acceleration on highways or merging in traffic. Owners reported their 2007-2009 Highlanders exhibiting transmission shuddering during shifts, hesitation when accelerating from stops or when merging into traffic, and sluggish shifting that seemed completely uncharacteristic of Toyota transmissions. Some vehicles experience complete transmission failure requiring replacement at surprisingly low mileage, typically between 100,000 and 150,000 miles. While not as widespread as other manufacturer problems, the 2007-2009 Highlander generation had enough transmission complaints to indicate a systemic issue affecting multiple vehicles rather than isolated defects. The transmission problems typically appeared between 100,000 and 150,000 miles, often frustratingly just after warranty expiration when owners felt they should have reliable transportation. Owners reported being left with expensive repair bills despite the vehicle being relatively young. Replacement transmissions cost over $3,000 in parts alone, plus labor charges and additional component replacements, pushing the total beyond $4,000. Many owners of affected vehicles faced expensive repairs despite the vehicle's relatively young age and moderate mileage by Toyota standards. Toyota never issued a widespread recall for these transmission problems, leaving owners responsible for repair costs in many cases. Some dealerships worked with customers on extended warranty claims, but out-of-warranty owners had limited recourse. The inconsistency in how Toyota handled these issues created frustration among affected owners who felt abandoned by the company despite Toyota's reputation. Some owners reported successful warranty claims, arguing the transmission failure represented a defect rather than wear and tear, while others were denied coverage. The transmission issues seemed to concentrate in certain production batches, suggesting quality control problems during manufacturing rather than universal design flaws affecting every vehicle. Some owners reported their vehicles never experienced problems, while others with nearly identical model years and mileage faced complete transmission failure. This inconsistency made the problem difficult to predict when evaluating potential purchases and created uncertainty for buyers. The 5-speed automatic transmission in these Highlanders worked adequately in most vehicles, but a percentage developed problems, suggesting component manufacturing issues or assembly errors. Some failures were catastrophic, while others manifested as progressive hesitation that worsened over time. The wide variability in symptoms and severity made diagnosis challenging for mechanics unfamiliar with this generation's quirks. If you're considering a 2007-2009 Highlander with the V6 5-speed transmission, listen carefully for transmission hesitation or shuddering during acceleration and shifting. Have it thoroughly inspected by a transmission specialist before purchasing. Test driving should include highway merging to evaluate transmission responsiveness and smoothness. The potential for expensive repairs is significant enough to warrant careful inspection or avoidance of problematic examples. Get the vehicle's complete service history and look for any transmission service attempts or repairs. Request a pre-purchase transmission inspection specifically examining internal condition and component wear. 3. 2008-2011 Toyota RAV4 Engine Sludge. Coming in at number 3 is the 2008-2011 Toyota RAV4, particularly models with the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine that developed excessive engine sludge accumulation despite owners performing regular maintenance according to manufacturer recommendations. This sludge buildup caused engine problems including performance degradation, check engine lights, rough running, and occasional engine damage requiring cleaning or replacement. The phenomenon was so widespread that it generated multiple owner complaints and formal investigations into potential systemic defects. Owners reported their RAV4 engines developing thick, dark sludge inside the engine despite using manufacturer-recommended oil changes at regular intervals and following maintenance schedules precisely. The sludge accumulation suggested either poor engine design that promoted sludge formation under certain conditions or inadequate oil recommendations for the specific operating characteristics of these engines. Some vehicles required professional engine cleaning services that cost over $1,000 or complete engine replacement to resolve the sludge issue completely. The sludge problem typically emerged between 50,000 and 100,000 miles, sometimes triggering check engine lights and performance issues like rough running or hesitation. The root cause wasn't definitively established by Toyota, with some theories suggesting certain oil viscosity recommendations weren't appropriate for these engines or certain operating conditions promoted sludge formation. Whatever the cause, the sludge accumulation represented a maintenance challenge uncommon for Toyota engines and inconsistent with the brand's reputation for durability. While Toyota never issued a formal recall for the sludge issue, affected owners reported successful warranty claims at dealerships, particularly if the problem appeared within the warranty period. Some owners argued the sludge represented a manufacturing defect in engine design or machining. Out-of-warranty owners faced engine cleaning costs ranging from $1,000 to $1,500 or potential engine replacement if sludge damage was severe. The issue generated enough concern that it became a known problem mechanics watched for when servicing these model year RAV4s. The sludge issue seemed to affect certain geographic regions more heavily, with some theories suggesting climate or driving conditions contributed to the problem. Highway driving seemed to mitigate the problem compared to frequent short-trip driving that never allowed engines to reach full operating temperature. Some owners reported reducing sludge accumulation by switching to synthetic oils despite the manufacturer recommendation for conventional oil, suggesting the oil type played a role. The consequences of sludge accumulation extended beyond the engine itself, with some owners reporting sludge-related damage to valve components and internal engine seals. The thick, gummy substance restricted oil flow in critical areas, leading to increased engine wear and potential catastrophic failure if not addressed. Regular oil analysis or engine inspection could catch developing sludge before serious damage occurred, but many owners didn't discover the problem until performance issues manifested. If you're considering a 2008-2011 RAV4, ask the owner about any sludge history or warning lights related to engine conditions. Check the engine dipstick for evidence of dark sludge in the oil even if the vehicle is well maintained. Have the vehicle inspected by a mechanic familiar with this generation's known issues. Request complete service history showing regular oil changes and the type of oil used. Some examples may have resolved the sludge issue through warranty service or owner maintenance procedures using synthetic oils. Consider having a pre-purchase inspection specifically examining engine condition and checking for sludge accumulation through bore scope inspection if possible. 2006-2008 Toyota 4Runner, transmission shuddering. Taking the second spot is the 2006-2008 Toyota 4Runner, which experienced transmission shuddering and occasional harsh shifting that created performance concerns and uncertainty about transmission health. These model years had 5-speed automatic transmissions that would occasionally shudder during acceleration or exhibit delayed engagement, creating rough shifting characteristics. The problem wasn't as dramatic as complete transmission failures, but created ongoing annoyances and legitimate concern about transmission wear and long-term reliability. Owners reported their 2006-2008 4Runners exhibiting transmission shuddering, particularly during acceleration from low speeds or when climbing hills with heavy loads. The shuddering would sometimes disappear temporarily, then return without warning, creating confusion about whether the problem was resolving on its own or getting progressively worse. Some owners reported the shuddering worsening over time, suggesting progressive transmission wear or developing problems within the transmission system itself. The transmission shudder issue often coincided with transmission fluid overheating or breakdown, suggesting the transmission was working harder than designed or operating outside ideal parameters. Some owners addressed the problem through transmission fluid replacement and system flushing, which provided temporary relief and improvement. Others found the problem persistent despite maintenance attempts, suggesting a more fundamental issue with the transmission design or internal components rather than simple maintenance neglect. While some 2006-2008 4Runners with transmission shudder were covered under warranty repair or complete transmission replacement, out-of-warranty owners faced expensive repairs or replacement costs exceeding $4,000. The transmission shudder wasn't severe enough to create immediate safety concerns typically, but it indicated transmission stress and possible wear that could lead to more serious problems without intervention. The transmission shudder seemed to worsen over time as miles accumulated, suggesting progressive component wear rather than a temporary glitch. Owners reported that the problem became more pronounced in cold weather when transmission fluid was thicker. This suggested the transmission was mechanically stressed even during normal operation, indicating design or manufacturing issues. If you're considering a 2006-2008 4Runner, test drive it thoroughly and listen carefully for transmission shuddering during acceleration from complete stops and when climbing gentle hills. Have a mechanic inspect the transmission fluid condition and overall transmission system health. Check service history for any transmission maintenance or repair attempts. If shuddering is present, budget for potential transmission service, fluid replacement, or complete transmission replacement, or pass on the vehicle in favor of a better example. Request comprehensive transmission inspection before purchase. 2004-2006 Toyota Highlander power steering failures. And finally, taking the top spot as the most problematic Toyota SUV model year to avoid is the 2004-2006 Toyota Highlander, which experienced power steering failures that created safety concerns during normal driving. These early Highlander model years had electronic power steering systems that would occasionally fail completely, leaving drivers without power assistance and requiring significant physical effort to steer. The steering failures were inconsistent but serious enough to represent genuine safety hazards to occupants and other drivers. Owners reported their 2004-2006 Highlanders losing power steering assist while driving at highway speeds or city speeds, suddenly requiring full physical effort to steer the vehicle through normal maneuvers. The failures would sometimes be intermittent, with power steering returning after restarting the engine, creating confusion and concern about safety and reliability. In some cases, complete power steering failure occurred suddenly while driving in traffic, creating emergency situations requiring immediate pullover to a safe location. The power steering failures typically occurred when vehicles reached moderate to high mileage, usually between 80,000 and 150,000 miles, when owners thought they had a reliable vehicle. The electronic system components were susceptible to failure for reasons Toyota never fully explained. Replacement electronic power steering systems were expensive, costing over $2,000 for parts and labor combined. Some failures occurred within warranty periods, but out-of-warranty owners faced the full expense of diagnosis and replacement. Toyota issued a technical service bulletin addressing power steering concerns for these model years, officially acknowledging the issue affected multiple vehicles despite not issuing a full recall. Some dealerships proactively addressed the problem in affected vehicles, but not all owners received notification or warranty coverage depending on exact circumstances and current mileage. The inconsistent response created frustration among owners experiencing the same problem across different dealerships. The power steering failure issue was serious enough that it created genuine safety concerns during driving, particularly in situations requiring emergency steering maneuvers or highway driving with heavy traffic. The sudden loss of power steering assist could have contributed to accidents or unsafe situations. Owners reported near misses where they barely managed to steer to safety when the system failed unexpectedly. The electronic power steering system in these early Highlanders seemed prone to sensor failures or electrical problems that disabled the system entirely. The root cause appeared to be insufficient quality control or durability testing in components that should have been more robust. Some owners reported the system failed multiple times even after replacement, suggesting underlying electrical system issues affecting the entire vehicle. If you're considering a 2004-2006 Highlander, have the power steering system thoroughly inspected by a qualified mechanic before purchasing. Test drive the vehicle and verify that power steering operates smoothly and consistently throughout various driving conditions. If you notice any hesitation, intermittent failure, unusual noises from the power steering system, or unusual behavior from the power steering, pass on the vehicle or budget for system replacement and repair. Have the dealership evaluate whether any technical service bulletins were applied to the vehicle's power steering system. Request service history showing any power steering repairs or maintenance. Understanding Toyota's overall reliability. Despite these 5 specific problem years, Toyota's overall reliability reputation is genuinely well-earned and absolutely deserved based on decades of performance data and owner satisfaction. These 5 model years represent significant exceptions to Toyota's typically excellent reliability record, rather than representing the norm for the brand. Most Toyota SUVs from other model years perform exceptionally well and last for hundreds of thousands of miles with proper maintenance and care. The difference between these problem years and other Toyota SUVs highlights the critical importance of researching specific model years before purchasing. Toyota's commitment to quality means most years are excellent choices, but these 5 represent documented issues worth avoiding or addressing with caution. Toyota's willingness to issue recalls like the 4Runner frame replacement demonstrates their commitment to addressing problems when identified, even if recalls occur years after initial sales. So, there you have it, the 5 Toyota SUV model years you should genuinely avoid. Not because Toyota makes bad vehicles in general, but because these specific production years had documented problems worth sidestepping. From the 2004-2008 4Runner's catastrophic frame rust at number 5 to the 2004-2006 Highlander's power steering failures at the top spot, these years represent exceptions to Toyota's excellent reliability record rather than the norm for the company. Understanding these problem years demonstrates that even exceptional manufacturers have occasional missteps during specific production periods. The good news is that Toyota SUVs from most other years continue to be among the most reliable vehicles you can buy. Toyota's response to these problems, including recalls and technical service bulletins, demonstrates their commitment to quality and customer satisfaction. The Toyota brand's reputation for reliability remains intact and absolutely well-deserved, but like any manufacturer, they've had specific years where problems affected vehicle quality and safety. By understanding these exceptions and problem years, you can make smart purchasing decisions and avoid expensive repair situations while still enjoying Toyota's legendary dependability in better production years. Research thoroughly, inspect carefully, and you'll find an excellent Toyota SUV that lives up to the brand's reputation for years to come.